Many eyebrows were raised when India did not select the Cannes Grand Prix winning All We Imagine as Light as their official submission for the Oscars. Instead, they went for the domestic satirical comedy Laapataa Ladies, and I can see why this was such a controversy. If you're new to my channel, my name is Paul, and I review the best of world cinema. I follow the race for Best International Feature Film Academy Award, from countries selecting their submission to the final winner. So if you want to follow the race for Best International Feature Film Oscar, please do subscribe to my channel. So now let's roll and review the film. Laapataa Ladies is an Indian satirical comedy available on Netflix. Set in 2001, two newlywed couples board the same carriage of the same train. Both these women are wearing the same veiled sari. Pushpa's story is that she wants independence and live a life farming the land, however has a very strict husband, while Phol is still pretty much a child and is yet to become a grown-up woman. Deepak accidentally leads Pushpa off the train, thinking she is Phol. However, this provides her with an opportunity to experience what it is like to farm land. However, Phol is abandoned on the platform. Here she meets a woman who is serving food and drink and lives on the platform herself, where she gets to experience that independent life. Under this changed circumstance, will these two women manage to live an independent life and find true happiness? This film has a clear message of female independence and the need for women to establish themselves in the world before they get married. Phol manages to learn what it's like to live by herself and look after herself, even if it's only been for 2 days, something she's never been able to experience. Pushpa was able to experience what it was like to follow her dream and ambition, rather than have a life of being a wife. This really brings in questions around arranged marriages or women becoming the wife as their occupation when they don't want to. While I appreciate the feminist message, it was very heavy-handed and lacked a nuanced approach to exploring gender inequality. There was also something rather unsettling about having a young character that could be interpreted as a child bride. The plot of the film and your own personal enjoyment is dependent upon the farcical element. So if you really enjoyed that bit, you'll love this film. But for me, it just did not work. It was a bit too farcical for my liking and really undermined the message it was trying to say. Some of the views at the start of the film, especially as they're going through the countryside on the train, were gorgeous. And you can see why Railway India and a local tourism board really wanted to have the endorsement. However, apart from that, it wasn't particularly cinematic and could have easily been a Netflix series. A lot of the humour was lost on me. I feel a lot of it was a domestic Indian observational comedy about society there, which I don't have first-hand experience of. Because of these reasons, it perplexes me why India selected it as their Oscar submission. This is predominantly a domestic film that brings many Indian people great joy. However, it doesn't translate to an international audience, especially not a voting judging panel. This is why it's pretty surprising this was India's submission. I will give Laapataa Ladies 2 stars, and I currently rank them in 8th place out of the 8 submissions I've seen so far. Despite the huge Bollywood industry and the great contribution Indian cinema has made to world cinema, it feels quite surprising to see that India have never won the Best International Feature Film Oscar. This is the 56th film India has submitted for the Oscars, and they've only had 3 nominated films. These are Mother India, Salom Bombay, and Lagan. They've also only had 1 film make the shortlist, which was Last Picture Show. The film RRR, which was not submitted for Best International Feature Film, managed to win the Oscar for Best Original Song. India are the 30th most successful country at the Oscars at Best International Feature Film, equal with Hong Kong. They are also ranked 32nd in the last 10 years, in part due to being on the shortlist for Last Picture Show. This shows that India's performance has not quite matched what they're capable of based upon their huge film industry and the many great titles that come out of that country. The exclusion from All We Imagine as Light is one opportunity to have got a nomination, which India decided to turn down. And questions really need to be asked about their selection process. However, India is such a huge country, so politics, culture and language play a huge part in what the country decides to submit. And I'm afraid until they start to be tactical and submit the film most likely to do well at the Oscars, they're going to continue to submit films without much success.